Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Okay, Mike, it's time for the good, bad, and the ugly as I pirate this little segment right here. I'm going to start it off. No, I'm going to let you start it off. What is your good that happened this past week?
I think it was our segment on the Calgary Stampeders. Even though I get on, you think I'm on a soapbox, I think I'm a little more real about it than you because you're still too tight to the local media. I think I hit it right on the nail on the head. It's about the fans, and you have to give credit, and you have to make sure the fans are fed the information and the great stories. That's the way they'll come out and buy tickets. It's a little old school, maybe old thinking, but try and re-wrap it around. I just think it was an outstanding session that we had.
Good research, Mike.
Thank you very much, sir. Do I still have to call you sir? No, you're not my boss anymore?
Well, you do.
Okay.
My good?
Yes.
Alex Harvey. Alex Harvey is the first Canadian.
The Alex Harvey band? Like from the 70s?
Alex Harvey is a young guy in his early 20s who was the first Canadian to win a cross-country ski medal individual event. Never happened in the history of World Cup skiing before. Alex Harvey is going to be a force in Sochi, Russia at the next Winter Olympics. He is my good. People haven't heard much about him. He works out of Quebec, not out of Canmore. Outstanding individual effort. What is your, you want to comment on that?
No, that's
Have
good.
You ever heard of him?
No, I haven't.
That's
so
good.
Yeah.
Okay, you're bad.
Got a couple.
Got a couple.
Danny Heatley's weight. Everyone's on this Danny Heatley guy for apparently how fat he is and how his production has gone down. Gee whiz, I always thought this kid was a great kid when we used to interview him when he was a junior. And then he, you know, unfortunately had the accident, but he just never seemed to get on track, show brilliance at times, and then just seems to be a malcontent. What happened to this guy? That's my bad. And the other one, Grant, the rise and fall of Joffrey Reynolds, who was found guilty this past week of assault and against his former girlfriend, or you know, a former female friend. Unfortunately, I always thought Joffrey Reynolds was a very nice guy, and it just, you know, I don't know what happened. The wheels fell off the cart, and unfortunately, he'll probably be deported now. It's just a whole situation gone bad, Grant, that, boy, I guess you just don't know somebody until stuff like this happens.
Well, you mentioned earlier in the week about the Stamps not having the right marketing tool to get people to fill the seats, and I totally agree with you. Guys like Joffrey Reynolds, Kenyon Rambo, Henry Burris in their day were outstanding guys like that. You feel for a guy like Joffrey Reynolds. When I went to interview him, I truly thought he was a class guy.
Yep.
I guess we really don't know what goes on behind closed doors in anybody's life. I feel for the guy. I hope he gets to turn it around, and it is a sad day for Joffrey Reynolds. You want to hear my bad?
Yep.
My bad is the Flames scouting staff and Jay Feaster 4 going after Roman Chervenka, considered to be the best player not in the NHL when they got him as a free agent before this season. And they said he is a bona fide #1 center for this team. He is going to be the centerman that we need because we lack centermen. We find out this past week he's not a centerman, he's a winger. He was never a centerman. He's a winger, and he's struggling out of the gate. Now, I know he had a blood clot before the lockout season started, so we have to give him the benefit of the doubt right there that maybe he's not in the best of shape. He doesn't speak English. He's taking English lessons, so he's learning the language. He can't communicate with his teammates very well. His girlfriend just had a baby back in the Czech Republic. So a lot of things are going against him, but from a fan's point of view, from what we see on the ice, he's been a bust. He was scratched from one game. He played 2.5 minutes against Phoenix. Roman Chervenka's my bad.
Good bad.
Okay, ugly. What's your ugly? Who be your ugly?
I should have said the best line was that line about curling. Close your eyes watching women's curling, and you.
I have to give Tony Spallettini credit for that.
God, he's a funny guy.
If you close your eyes, hurry! Harder! Harder!
Okay, I have to go with the bad. The blade.
No,
the
ugly.
blade
Ugly.
Or the ugly. The ugly.
You've given us two bads.
Apparently, you don't know my world, Grant. The Blade Runner, out of South Africa.
Oscar
Pistorius.
Pistorius. like a ventriloquist.
Well, you know, old Oscar, you know, the thing that I'm laughing at and what we were talking about.
We shouldn't be laughing at it.
No, I know, but the situation, everybody associated to that seems to be up on a murder charge. Or what the hell's going on with that thing?
Oscar is.
Yes. His brother is.
His brother is, and the lead detective on the case. Well, I guess what it is that they were up for a charge, then it was taken back.
Yeah.
Now that's been back on again.
No, was it
but someone said that's
brought back
common in South African law. I haven't looked too deep into this, but I heard that's quite common in South African law.
Well, Grant, when I was
But still,
studying
it's
South African law back in Mount Royal College in the late
you?
70s.
Did you ever study?
Well,
I know you went.
You can't get through college just on charm and personality. I tried. So I had to actually do some work.
How did it work for you?
Well, pretty good. They let me out on probation.
My ugly, I kind of got two, and I don't know what to choose from. I mentioned Akeem Alou's charge.
Yeah.
That was pretty ugly, but not ugly enough. But Ryan Clough, you cannot come off the bench and start a fight. That goes back
unless it's the 80s.
That's what I was going to say exactly.
Cool, yeah.
Not unless you play for the Calgary Cowboys and the West WHA.
Or the Bruins.
Or the Bruins or
Philadelphia
the Flyers back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Don't you miss that?
But you can't. No, I don't miss that. I don't miss that. So Ryan Clough, you're a good hockey player. You play with emotion. I love watching him play. Sticks up for his teammates. Pavelski got hit, not really hard, but got a hit into the boards by the player's bench. There was a whistle in the play, and he comes out and he goes after this guy. And that I thought was pretty ugly. You don't want to see that in the game, coming off and starting a fight.
That's a good one. The most overrated ugly could be Taylor Hall's hit on Clutterbuck of Minnesota, who also takes his fair share.
Did you think that was an ugly hit?
No, I didn't. I thought it was not a bad hockey hit, but you know, he got suspended a couple of games for it. But you know, you're not expecting it from Taylor Hall, that's for sure. But the guy was skating with his head down, and believe me, he would do the same thing if he had an opportunity to do so. We've seen it here.
No, I think that's a good point, and Taylor Hall is a good thing to bring up because Cal Clutterbuck is one of the most fiercest competitors. He's not big, but he'll hit you at any time. He's a tough guy to play against. I thought he described it best. He said it was a reckless play, and I think it was.
Yep.
It was reckless to go at a guy, knee on thigh, knee on knee.
But it looked like a hip, Grant. It looked more like a hip check.
It did look more like it. What concerns me, Mike, more is that we jump on this suspension bandwagon too quickly, media and fans. I mean, it was a bad hit. He should have been penalized. He was penalized. But I think we're a little too critical. I thought it was a bad hit, but I don't think it was an ugly, dirty hockey hit.
What about Pacioretty out of Montreal and his hit on McDonough?
That was retaliation for another hit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't Pacioretty hit before, and he left his feet, didn't he?
Yeah, but why wasn't he suspended?
Why wasn't Akeem Alou even charged for a charging penalty when he started from...
Maybe the ugly is the officiating in the NHL this year.
Could be.
Because that hasn't been stellar.
No, it hasn't. Inconsistent.
Yeah.
Much like you and I today.